Let me take you on a journey. A journey of love, betrayal, and revenge. This is how I uncovered my wife's double life. It all seemed so perfect at the beginning. We met at a friend's wedding. I was immediately drawn to her. Her smile, her laugh, her zest for life. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. It was a magical moment. Our wedding was beautiful. Surrounded by friends and family, we promised each other forever. The early years of our marriage were pure bliss. Every day felt like a honeymoon. We built a life together, a home filled with laughter, or so I believed. Eight years into our marriage, things started to change. The first cracks appeared after our New Year's party. She became distant, withdrawn. Her laughter, once the soundtrack to our lives, became a distant echo. She was always on that damn tablet, her face illuminated by the cold blue light. A barrier was forming between us, a wall built of secrets. I tried talking to her, trying to bridge the gap. My attempts were met with indifference. It was like talking to a stranger. Fear gnawed at my gut. Something was wrong. I couldn't shake the feeling that she was slipping away. Little did I know she was already gone, lost in a world I wasn't privy to, a world of deceit and infidelity. Looking back, I realize how naive I was. I believed in our love and our marriage. I trusted her completely. She was my wife and my best friend. At least that's what I thought. She was the perfect wife, always attentive, always loving. She kept our home immaculate. Dinner was always ready when I got home from work. She dedicated her life to me, to us, or so I believed. Her world revolved around me. At least that's what she wanted me to think. I worked hard to provide for us. I wanted her to have everything she ever desired. A beautiful home, a comfortable life. I gave her my credit cards, access to our bank accounts. I trusted her implicitly. She didn't need to work. I encouraged her to pursue her hobbies, her passions. She loved to paint. I converted our spare bedroom into an art studio for her, covered the walls and canvases, bought her the finest paints and brushes. I thought she was happy, content. She never gave me any reason to doubt her. She was always there when I came home, always ready with a smile and a kiss. I was living a lie. The change was subtle at first, almost imperceptible. Her behavior shifted slightly. She became increasingly distant, preoccupied. Her once bright eyes seemed clouded, distant. Her smile, once so warm and genuine, seemed strained, forced. She was physically present, but mentally she was miles away. She was always on her phone, texting, or on her tablet. When I asked who she was talking to, she would brush it off. Just a friend, she would say. Her tablet became her constant companion. She would spend hours on it, a digital shield separating her from me, from us. Her tablet became an obsession, a constant companion. She was glued to it. I mean, she was really glued to it. A secret world at her fingertips. It seemed everywhere she went, that damn tablet was in her hands. A mixture of excitement and fear. When I entered the room, she'd quickly turn away, hiding the screen from me. "What are you looking at?" I'd ask. I was mad. We were watching a movie. She wouldn't put it down. She said, "I am just browsing." Her answer was suspicious. I thought to myself, what was she hiding? I tried to push the doubts away, to convince myself that I was being paranoid, that our marriage was fine. But the evidence was mounting. Her behavior was changing. She was withdrawn, distant. The light in her eyes, once so bright, had dimmed, replaced by a shadow of guilt. She stopped wearing her wedding ring, said it was getting too tight. Now to me, that was bullshit. She was distancing herself from me, from us. One night, the tension in our home became unbearable. I decided to confront her. "Who were you talking to?" She sat on the edge of the bed, her tablet glowing in her lap. She didn't answer, just kept scrolling, her silence speaking volumes. "Who are you texting? I just got in her face. Who are you meeting?" She finally looked up, her eyes cold and distant. "Don't be ridiculous," she said. "You're being paranoid." I lunged for the tablet, desperate for answers, for proof. She pulled it away, clutching it to her chest like a protective shield. "Don't touch that!" she hissed. Her reaction confirmed my worst fears. She was hiding something big. "Let me see it. Show me what you're so desperate to hide." She backed away. "Get away from me," she whispered. But her fear only fueled my determination. I had to know the truth, even if it destroyed us. The confrontation ended in a stalemate. She refused to talk and I refused to back down. I couldn't let it go. I needed answers. I started tracking her movements, checking her phone records, her credit card statements. Every unexplained expense, every late-night call fueled my suspicions. I felt like a detective piecing together a puzzle. My wife was leading a double life. The weight of my suspicions became unbearable. I was consumed by doubt, my mind racing with every possibility. Was she having an affair? Who was she meeting? Why? Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by endless nights of tossing and turning, haunted by images of her betrayal. I was losing myself in the labyrinth of my own mind. Desperate for answers, I made a decision. A decision I knew was wrong, but I couldn't stop myself. I hired a private investigator. I had to know the truth, whatever the cost. The call came a week later. "I have some information for you." My heart sank to my stomach. I could barely breathe. He proceeded to lay out the truth, a truth more devastating than I could have ever imagined. My wife was having an affair, but it was worse than that. She was having two. "She's been seeing them both for months," the investigator said. "Regular meetings, romantic dinners, short-day excursions at hotels." He sent me the photos, each one a dagger to my heart. There she was, my wife, in the arms of another man. The first man, tall and distinguished, was her boss. The second, younger and more athletic, she'd met at a charity gala we'd attended together. The irony wasn't lost on me. The photos showed them laughing, kissing, holding hands. Intimate moments captured in cold, stark detail. Proof of her betrayal. Each image chipped away at the foundation of our marriage. The life we'd built together, the memories we'd shared, now tainted by her deceit. The investigator's report was thorough. Dates, times, locations, all meticulously documented. He'd even uncovered a secret bank account she'd been using to fund her affairs. Expensive gifts, lavish dinners, romantic getaways, all paid for with money I'd earned. Money I thought was going towards our future. The life I thought we were living together, the life I cherished, was a lie. A carefully constructed facade she'd been hiding behind. The realization hit me with the force of a physical blow. I felt sick to my stomach, my head spinning. Betrayal. It was a word I'd always associated with spy novels and action movies. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine it would become my reality. The pain was unbearable, a crushing weight on my chest, making it hard to breathe. How could she do this to me, to us? 8 years of marriage, of shared dreams and promises, all gone up in smoke. I felt lost, adrift in a sea of pain and confusion. But one thing was clear. Our marriage was over. The investigators' findings were devastating, but they were also empowering. I knew I had to protect myself, both emotionally and financially. I instructed him to continue gathering evidence. I needed irrefutable proof of her infidelity, proof that would stand up in court. I had to make sure she didn't try to take me for everything I had. He followed her relentlessly, documenting her every move. He photographed her with her lovers. It was agonizing to see, but I knew it was necessary. Every photograph was a brick in the wall I was building, a wall to protect myself from her deceit. While the investigator built my case, I took steps to protect my assets. I removed her from my credit cards and bank account. I contacted my lawyer, a shrewd and experienced man who specialized in high net worth divorces. He assured me that I had a strong case, given the evidence I had gathered. We'll make sure she doesn't profit from her betrayal. I opened a new bank account, one she had no access to. I transferred a significant portion of our savings, enough to ensure my financial security. It felt wrong, deceitful even, but I didn't care. She had betrayed my trust, our vows, our future. I had to protect myself. The days that followed were a blur of anger, sadness, and a strange sense of detachment. I felt like a ghost, haunting my own life. I went through the motions, working, eating, sleeping, but my heart wasn't in it. I was adrift, waiting for the storm to break, waiting for the day I could confront her with the truth, waiting for the day our marriage would be officially over. The investigator continued his work, feeding me bits and pieces of information, each one a fresh wound to my already battered heart. I knew I should hate her, but all I felt was a profound sense of loss. The day finally came, the day I decided to end our charade. I instructed my lawyer to serve her with divorce papers. I didn't want to see her face, didn't trust myself to be in the same room with her. The process was cold, clinical, devoid of the love we had once shared. My lawyer assured me it was for the best. It felt like I was ripping out a part of myself, a part that had been infected, poisoned by her betrayal, but a part of me nonetheless. She called me as soon as she received the papers. She was shocked, to say the least. "What is this?" she demanded. "What are you doing? I'm filing for divorce." Silence on the other end of the line, her mask of composure crumbling. "But why?" I said, "Please, you know why." "Don't play coy," I said. "I know about your affairs." The silence returned, heavier this time. The divorce was finalized a few months later. A swift and brutal affair, much like her betrayals. She didn't contest the evidence. She moved out, her presence erased like a chalk drawing after a rainstorm. I walked from room to room, a void that mirrored the hollowness inside me. Life goes on, they say. But in those early days, it felt impossible to believe. The pain was raw, visceral, a constant ache in my chest, a reminder of her betrayal. Friends and family reached out, offering words of comfort. I withdrew, isolating myself from the world. Why had she done it? Time, they say, heals all wounds, but some wounds run too deep, leaving behind scars that never truly fade. The pain of her betrayal has lessened, replaced by a dull ache. But the scars remain. I'm more cautious now, more guarded. The trust I once gave so freely has been shattered. I'm moving on, slowly but surely, picking up the pieces of my shattered heart. It's a long process, but I'm determined to rebuild my life.